Good morning everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Crystal. Good morning. It's Friday morning. It's obviously the start of the weekend this evening, and I hope everybody has a great day today. It feels warmer. It looks like we have a bit of sunshine outside, but then it becomes overcast and cloudy, so I don't know what's going to happen today. Weather-wise, I'm sure Alexa will tell me. Harry's having a wonderful time being naughty, as he usually does. So, you know, just another day for me. I'm not going anywhere today. Yesterday, I went to a dental appointment in Chatham, which is a train stop away from Rochester, where I live. And it's about half an hour's walk into town from here. And I decide to walk in the rain, don't I? I decide to walk in the rain, but I wanted to get some video footage. I did a bit of live streaming in Chatham, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And when you've got a camera in your hands, then you sort of like behave yourself, don't you? You know, it helps me with my anxiety as well. So I obviously was holding the camera. I took video footage of my walk into town, which was wet, windy, and I've walked many times into Chatham in my time from here. I've lived in Rochester for nearly 5 years, and when I first moved into this property, I was walking into Chatham a lot because I still had my other flat for 2 months. When I first moved into here, I still had my other flat in Chatham, so they give you 2 months period to get all your belongings out of your other flat into the new one. So yeah, I walked into Chatham a lot and I encountered a lot of shit. Wait a minute, my cat. So my cat is naughty. If he isn't breaking my pillows, he's trying to climb up the windows. It's like a flying squirrel. Psst, it's gone. Bless him. He is a normal domestic cat crossed with a Maine Coon. So he is really, really big. His paws are massive and he is so athletic. So he flies across the room, climbs up to the ceiling and everything else. I've never ever come across a cat like it. He's like, oh, the things he gets up to. Harry. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I went into Chatham to go to my old flat. I was going to visit that yesterday, but I was so tired. And it was noisy in Chatham. They're drilling and building new flats and everything, and it was noisy, and I just wanted to come home. Otherwise, I would have paid a visit to where I used to live, because I normally do when I go into Chatham. I like to see how the flats are. But I didn't get up there yesterday. I went to the dentist. I went to Primark. I went to the pound shop. I put my gas on my gas card in the post office, and I just looked around the bus station. I did go into the Pentagon Centre briefly. I saw the candy floss machine, but it's expensive and it didn't look clean, so I didn't try a candy floss out of the machine. I went into Sainsbury's to get myself a sandwich, drink and snack, and the newspaper, and then I just I'd had enough. I just wanted to go home. I'd been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. And Chatham is not a place which you know, it's okay, but it's not a place that you go and visit for the attractions. I did give some money to a homeless man, and he had really black hands, bless him. He looked like he'd been digging in the dirt. I think my mum called me a couple of times, but I was so tired. I was tired, very tired, and I just wanted to go home. And I thought, right, let's walk back home, and I did. And I came home, and you just know when you're back into a place you hate. The people are totally different, and it's not pleasant. So I just thought, right, I'm going to get on with it. Some of the people are, I mean, it's just where I'm living, the part where I'm living. And I came home to my Hello Fresh box almost in pieces. It was in a terrible state. It was disgusting. I've never had a parcel delivered to this flat in that condition before. Absolutely disgraceful. I don't know what's going on. It's looked like someone attacked the parcel, and maybe tried to open it, saw there was just food in there, and decided to attack the mushrooms. It was the mushrooms that had split open all over the box and contaminated everything. So I rang up HelloFresh, and they said, yeah, send us some photographs, and they've actually seen for themselves what the box looked like, and have said that in the next couple of weeks my money will be refunded. So whoever did that was really silly, because I've got my money refunded anyway. And it is jealousy, and it is spitefulness, because whoever is doing it is in the live stream when I'm live streaming on TikTok. That's what I believe. I believe they're watching and they are inside my live stream, whoever it is. And it's freaky, and it's creepy, and I feel like every move is being watched, and it's not paranoia. It's not paranoia at all. Like they're observing me every single day, watching me, following me about. I've got people asking me where I am, what I'm doing, what I've eaten. They're just asking me these questions every day, and I don't reply. I don't even answer. Why aren't you talking to me? Because you're freaking me out. I don't even know the person, and they're freaking me out. They're just fascinated and obsessed. Can't breathe for them. Anyway, last night I took Max out for a walk, and two young blokes near the steps that lead, you know, when the Jetstream's tour boat picks people up, they're on the steps leading to the boat. There's no boat. And as soon as I start to come off the field, they move. They start leaving the field the same time as I do. Apart from that, there is really no one on the field, I don't think. Not last night. It was a pretty... The homeless people have moved the tents in a stupid, awkward position near the path. And, you know, it's not I'm afraid to let my dog off. I don't want my dog going anywhere near them. I don't want to be forced to have a conversation with people. Do you know what I mean? I came home from walking my dog, and I don't know if the guy upstairs was making that noise last night because I didn't see his car. So it must have been them next door, and they make a hell of a lot of noise. It's terrible. So I don't know where the noise was coming from last night. It sounded like it was coming from upstairs, but he didn't come home upstairs until I had come home around 7:30. So he wasn't in. So it wasn't him making that noise. It must have been them next door. It's making a hell of a lot of noise. So I might have mistaken that from upstairs. You can be mistaken. When he has his kids over, they do make noise, and you know when it's them because it's right above the ceiling and in my bedroom and over the toilet. So the noise yesterday was one-sided. So it must have been them. He came back later. I just ignored all the noise. Ignored it all. Wherever it was coming from and whoever was doing it, I just was so tired and exhausted. I just sat down and I just ignored it. Someone keeps coming into my live stream asking me if they've upset me. They keep going, hello beautiful, hello beautiful, hello beautiful, hello beautiful. They keep repeating themselves. But I'm not bothered now. I'm not bothered about it at all. What is that noise? That's upset the cat. Wait a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Every time I do some sort of video, we get some sort of noise or something. So there's some horrendous noise now starting while I'm doing this video. So I've shut the window. It's about 23 degrees in this flat, and now I've got to shut the window because right outside my home is some noise, like drilling or whatever they're doing. So I've shut the window. I do apologise, guys. I can't stop the noise coming from outside, but they do this to me a lot. I wanted to show you this. Now, this is a photo book. A photo book. It's a hardback photo book, and I just wanted to try it. So you upload pictures of you from your mobile phone, and they print them. Now this was just a trial one. Free book. Just paid the postage. So that is the bus that I took out, a picture I took outside the travel lodge of the wedding bus. That's the front page. The back page is of me. That's me. And it's really good. Keep all your photo memories. That's Max. So it's pretty much the photos I got printed into a book. Or just the castle there. It's great if you want to do memories, like if people have passed on and you want to keep memories of them, you know, so it's really good. If you want to keep memories of people, and they've come out really well, really well. So you can make your own books. Honestly, you can. I'm going to get my poetry printed. I can print them myself, get them printed. So I can do my own book. So nothing can stop you. You can do what you want in this life. If you want it, you can get it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. Today is National Fish and Chip Day, so go and get your batter fix, and don't forget the mushy peas.
I've already had fish and chips in Whitstable, which was delicious. So I won't be getting any more fish and chips. I've had my fill. Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. The time is 8:49 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
Today is Friday the 6th of June.
Alexa, what's the weather outlook?
Currently, in Rochester it's 14 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Today, you can expect clouds and showers, with a high of 20 degrees and a low of 11 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What does a grape say when it gets stepped on? Nothing, it just lets out a little whine.
Alexa, which celebrity was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 6th of June include Pete Hegseth, Jason Isaacs, Paul Giamatti, Judith Barsi, and Alexander Pushkin.
Right guys, so today I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to get stressed out because we know why they're all going to start trying to stress me out, because they want me to have a shitty weekend. And I've had a wonderful day yesterday. I've got some nice bits and pieces. I don't intend to do anything today. This is Rochester. It's a bit overcast, but the sun's coming out, and I intend to just relax and enjoy myself and take things as they come. And that noise seems to have subsided. I don't know what it was. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Get more from your smart speaker by linking to your Global Player account. You'll then be able to catch up on your favourite shows on your smart speaker. Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
A gentleman by the name of Alain Berset, if I'm saying that correctly, Secretary General of the Council of Europe, says that there should possibly be a review. Are we going to hear more from a prominent politician today, Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch? Well, she can't join me, but one of her key colleagues can. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp joins me now. What are we going to hear from the boss? This is Badenoch today. Morning, Mr. Philp.
Good morning, Nick. Well, yes, in the 75 years since the ECHR started, what has happened is that judges, both in Strasbourg and in the UK, have stretched the definitions of what those ECHR article means beyond all recognition. Now, as you set out in your kind of very good historical introduction, it was...
That was my subject at school, by the way. History was my one speciality. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, you put it into very good context and explained why it was started, why it was entered into after the Second World War. But since then, for good reasons, but since then, it has been stretched beyond any kind of recognition. And the judges have taken these very vaguely worded articles and interpreted them to mean things which are a million miles away from what the original framers of the ECHR intended. I'll give you a couple of examples. The Swiss had a referendum not long ago on net zero to say, look, it's all gone a bit too fast and too far. It's costing too much money. Let's just slow it down a bit. Somebody made an application to the Strasbourg court and said somehow that breached their human rights. And the court agreed, and they overturned the result of a democratic referendum in Switzerland on climate change, which has got nothing whatsoever to do with human rights. There's an example of how they've expanded their jurisdiction. In the UK, to give you just one example amongst thousands, there was a Zimbabwean paedophile who should have been deported back to Zimbabwe, as our law requires. But a UK court, using the ECHR, said, no, he might face some hostility because he's a paedophile, so you can't send him back, he can stay in the UK. Well, what about the human rights of British children to be protected from that dangerous Zimbabwean paedophile? So for those reasons, we have increasingly come to the view in the Conservative Party that we will need to leave the ECHR, and what Kemi is going to announce today is a legal review by Lord Wolfson, who's one of the most eminent barristers in the country, also the Shadow Attorney General, to look at the legal detail around that, to look at whether there are any challenges that need to be overcome. He will report back in 3 to 4 months' time when a final decision will be made, because we don't want to just shoot from the hip. We do want to think about this properly, and that is what Lord Wolfson's review is going to do.
Well, you mentioned Shadow Attorney General. Of course, in the view of the Attorney General, Lord Hermer, this is almost Nazification of politics, Mr. Philp.
Well, that is a disgusting slur that Lord Hermer made a couple of weeks ago, accusing right-of-centre politicians, comparing right-of-centre politicians to Nazis for daring to question things like the ECHR, which effectively, the way it's now working, it hands judges power to make decisions that really should be taken by democratically elected politicians who are answerable to the public. And Lord Hermer's got form. I mean, he's the same man who recently refused to allow a review of a convicted rapist who only got 28 months in prison. Hermer thought that was perfectly adequate. He's also a cheerleader for the Chagos Islands giveaway. Lord Hermer is a disgrace, and Keir Starmer should sack him. But I bet he won't, because they're buddies and they frankly share many of the same opinions.
With what would the Conservatives seek to replace ECHR, Mr. Phil?
Well, that's one of the questions to consider, because of course we want to make sure that important rights like free speech, for example, continue to be domestically protected. So that is one of the questions that actually Lord Wolfson will be considering. Although it's worth observing that, of course, countries like Australia and New Zealand managed to protect those sort of rights like free speech, very well without being in the ECHR. And many of those rights were, of course, in fact, all of them probably, were protected before we entered into it. So I think one can sort of overstate the extent to which rights are, particularly in a developed democracy like the UK, rely on the ECHR. They don't. Australia and New Zealand get on very well without it.
I can hear the moans, groans, howls of anguish from human rights lawyers and others. This is putting us on a par with Belarusian countries such as that. How would you respond, Mr. Phil?
Well, total nonsense. It would put us, if we make the final decision in the autumn, on a par with countries like Australia and New Zealand. We have a long tradition in this country of protecting civil liberties and civil rights, arguably going back as far as Magna Carta in 1215, to pick up your historical analogies. So I'm not sure it is the ECHR that is the only thing standing between us and tyranny. But there are good questions about how we can make sure that free speech is properly protected, and Lord Wolfson will be looking at those.
Notwithstanding your strident views about the Attorney General, if I move you to other areas, does he need to be contacted over the sentencing of the two killers of the 80-year-old man at Leicester? One of your colleagues, Peter Bedford, who is the local MP, believes the sentence should be called in. Shadow Home Secretary, what's your reaction?
Yes, I do agree, actually, with Peter, because those sentences do seem to me too soft, and the Attorney General has a power to, when an application is made, I think it has to happen within 28 days of the sentence, the Attorney General has a power to refer the matter to the Court of Appeal, who can then decide whether or not the sentence is unduly lenient, and if the Court of Appeal thinks it is too lenient, they can increase it. So the Attorney General gets quite a few of these referrals each year. And I mentioned a recent example a couple of minutes ago where a rapist only got 28 months in prison, which is a shamefully short sentence. It's less than Lucy Connolly got from her tweet. Now, the tweet was distasteful, but she got, and wrong, but she got 31 months in prison. And you know what Hermer did when he got that case sent to him, the 28 months for a rapist? He said, no need to review it. 28 months is absolutely fine. So Lord Hermer is a man who thinks rape is less serious than sending a distasteful tweet. But anyway, yes, I think these cases should be referred to him.
Reminding listeners, it wasn't that long ago that you were the policing minister. You'll be aware of the case of an officer in Dorset who has lost his job after the Dorset police say he acted in an unprofessional fashion. He was detaining a 15-year-old who was subsequently found was to have a knife on his person. Should he have lost his job, Mr. Philp?
So talking about PC Castle.
PC Lawn Castle in Bournemouth.
Exactly. So I would encourage PC Castle very strongly to appeal against this decision to the Police Appeals Tribunal. I've looked at the footage. Now, there's no question he used some pretty bad language and he used more force than was probably necessary. So I think he did conduct the incident in the wrong way. But whether that meets the threshold to dismiss someone, an officer who I think has been commended twice for bravery, I do question that. And I think he should appeal to the Police Appeals Tribunal. I think the Police Appeals Tribunal should look at it again. And I would suggest that a form of disciplinary action probably is merited, but perhaps not as severe as dismissal. And the reason I say that is that we need police officers. So he did get it wrong in this case, and he should be disciplined. But sacking someone is a big step. And look, we need police officers to have the confidence to use their powers, whether it's the use of force, the use of taser, stop and search, high-speed pursuit, tactical contact. We need the police to have the confidence to use those powers to protect the public and arrest criminals. Now, if the police are terrified they're going to get unreasonably
disciplined or possibly lose their jobs.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Then they're going to hold back. They're not going to do what's necessary to protect the public, and that's why I think this sanction in this case perhaps was excessive. And I would think the Police Appeals Tribunal should have a look at it, and I would therefore encourage PC Castle to appeal to the PAT to look at it again.
Last minute or so together. Look, I'll be honest with you. Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse would not be a target seat for the Conservatives in anyone's book, but to come a distant fourth, 1,600 votes when the winner gets in the thick end of 9,000 votes, the party really is out in the hinterland, isn't it?
Well, I mean, as you said, Nick, we've never done well in that particular area. It's never been a Conservative, an area where we've done well. It was historically a massive Labour stronghold. The SNP obviously have held it more recently, so never been good territory for us. Look, like the Conservative group in Holyrood in the Scottish Parliament are doing a good job holding the SNP to account. They're very vocal, very active. Obviously, we're the principal opposition here in Westminster, and we're constantly not just holding Labour to account for all of their massive tax rises, which they lied about before the election. We're also developing new ideas like a binding annual cap on immigration. And like today's announcement on the ECHR, we've got new leadership. We are moving forward in a new direction. And I think over time that will feed through into results, not instantly, because it does take time to bounce back from that big defeat we had last year. But we have listened, we have learned. We've got new leadership, we've got a new direction.
Final question. Should there be a debate, I repeat the word debate, about wearing a burqa in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, I think it is legitimate to debate the question. It's not a topic that the Conservatives have a settled view on. Look, we do have to be mindful, of course, of freedom of expression and personal liberty, because we do believe in freedom in this country. But it's a perfectly reasonable topic to debate.
Grateful for your time. Watch out for a big piece from the Conservative leader later today, Kemi Badenoch, about the ECHR as outlined by her senior colleague, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp. Mr Philp, thank you for your time, and we will carry that debate about the ECHR over. Past the 9 o'clock news on LBC.
On your radio, on the LBC app, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 9 o'clock, President Trump has threatened to cut Elon Musk's government contracts after a spectacular falling out. It was sparked by a row over tax and spending plans and has escalated to a barrage of personal attacks on the social media sites they each own. Mr. Musk's made unproven claims about the president's links to the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Greg Swanson, chair of Republicans Overseas UK, has told Nick it's an ugly situation.
Just about everybody thought it was going to happen, but I didn't think it would go nuclear like this. You know, I didn't think it would last forever. I mean, and Elon had been very clear from the beginning that this was a very temporary role. And you saw that, you know, last Friday they kind of parted on really good terms. So I didn't know it would end up like this. That's for sure.
More patients needing urgent medical care are to be treated in settings other than A&E. It's part of a government plan to cut waiting times and the rise of corridor care in emergency departments in England. About £450 million will be spent on upgrading facilities and buying new ambulances. Sir Keir Starmer says people voted for change in Labour's surprise win in the Hamilton by-election. Davy Russell, the area's new MSP, finished ahead of the SNP in second and Reform in a close third. Kemi Badenoch will say she is increasingly of the view that Britain should withdraw from some international agreements. The Conservative leader will set out plans later to look at leaving the European Convention on Human Rights. The treaty, established in 1950, underpins human rights law. The Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Philp, has told Nick it's been stretched beyond any recognition.
We have increasingly come to the view in the Conservative Party that we will need to leave the ECHR. And what Kemi is going to announce today is a legal review by Lord Wolfson, who's one of the most eminent barristers in the country, also the Shadow Attorney General, to look at the legal detail around that, to look at whether there are any challenges that need to be overcome.
Veterans are gathering in Normandy for events to mark the 81st anniversary of D-Day. The operation on the 6th of June in 1944 marked the start of the campaign to liberate Nazi-occupied northwestern Europe. In the city, the FTSE 100 a short time ago was trading at 88.27. That's up 16 points. The pound buys $1.35 and a euro 18. LBC weather, most places seeing some sunshine and showers, longer spells of rain in the south and east, a high of 21 degrees. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Thomas Watt.
Imagine a Euro Millions jackpot. Now make it massive!